Okay. Hi, Further. Let me just get all my screens all set up here. I really need to get like a better setup where I can have multiple screens on my desk. That would be nice. So I don't have to like try to maneuver all these windows around. How's it going, you guys? We have a few minutes before we're actually going to start, but I figured that I would go live now to give people a chance to come in and just see how you guys are doing before we get started. And to make sure we don't have any technical issues. Oh no, I was making a cup of tea. That's actually what I was doing. And I still have a few minutes, so I can still go get my tea, and you can't be mad. I'll be right back. If someone shows up and I'm gone, can you tell them? I know you're watching. Can you? Hi! I went live and then I realized that I didn't grab my tea. And I gotta have my tea. We're talking about mindfulness and compassion and, you know, the topics of these webinars. I need to have my tea. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Natasha. I love this. I love that I have a feeling like I know I'm gonna come to the webinar and I know that you guys are gonna be there, which is a nice feeling. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming to the live event and not just like watching it back later, because this does live on my Patreon forever for anybody to watch back, or for my patrons to watch back if they want. But it's really nice to have you guys here for the actual live thing, because then hopefully we can have like some conversation, you know, some discussion, just me babbling into into the void. Carter's here. Hi, Carter. What have you guys been up to today? Sarah says, luckily you always plan it on my night off. That works out then. Like I think I said this last time, and it says it on my Patreon page also, but I am doing these webinars the second Thursday of every month, because that way I feel like it's easy to keep track of for you guys as viewers. So we don't always have to be checking in and being like, when is the next one? Wait, what's going on? Hi, Jasper. Let me make sure my Instagram story went up saying that I'm live. It is. Good stuff. Oh, what kind of practicum, Carter? That's so interesting. That's something like lots of different professions and stuff have to do practicums. And if I get into my master's program, then I will have to be doing a practicum at some point. So I'm very curious how that all works. But education. My sister's in education. Did we talk about this already last time? I feel like we talked about this already. I'm having deja vu. Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so we're gonna get started. Today I want to talk about, let's see if I can get this up so that I can see your comments while I can also see my notes. There we go. So today, for this webinar, I want to talk about mindfulness and compassion at work. This was requested in the last webinar by you So I've come up with what I think the top questions are that people ask in terms of like dealing with work or times when mindfulness or compassion would be helpful at work. And that's what I want to answer today. So particularly, I want to address the question, how do I handle work stress, or like what's the best way to deal with stress at work? I want to talk about what the best way is to deal with difficult coworkers, because I know that that is definitely can be one of the most stressful parts of a job, is your coworkers or your boss. And then third, and kind of most importantly, I would say, the question, is it possible to find joy in a job that I hate? Which is something that a lot of us face at some point in our lives. Those are the questions I want to address. And as I go through, as always, if you have any questions or anything that you want to say, please leave it in the comments on the Patreon page, because I'm keeping my eye on those as we go. So let's start off with the basics. How do I handle work stress? Or what's the best way to handle stress at work? And I don't think that it's going to come as any surprise to any of you that my answers are mindfulness and compassion. Like, that's obviously the broad general answer, and I'm going to get more into the specifics, but my short answer, my short Sparks Notes version, how do I handle work stress? What's the best way to handle work stress? Mindfulness and compassion, baby. So mindfulness is helpful in 3 different ways, and those 3 different ways come from its basic definition. So the first, just shocked that that's my answer. Me too. I kind of thought, yeah, I thought you guys would be. It's a spoiler alert. We're talking about mindfulness and compassion today. So the 3 pieces of mindfulness are intentional attention, so paying attention on purpose. Natasha says, right, Sarah. Carter says, #shook. So paying attention on purpose. And in a workplace setting, the way I want to phrase that, or like how that applies to a workplace setting, is taking control of your, it's in the first webinar about mindfulness and mindfulness, and how paying attention on purpose, choosing something, choosing an object of our attention, rather than just allowing our minds to go off wherever they please, is the first step of mindfulness. And in a workplace environment, or when you're working a job that maybe it's not the job that you want to be at, maybe it is and it's just super stressful. Either way, taking the control, your sense of control inward, and taking control of your attention, even if just for a moment, even if just for one task, can be really huge. So that's just the first piece, right? Paying attention on purpose and intentional attention. The second is the present moment awareness. And so in a workplace setting, this would be focusing on one task at a time, right? Often, no matter what job you work at, I feel like there's so much you need to do. Whether that's working for yourself, like me, where I morning, noon, and night have a list of 1,000 things that I should be doing, or I want to be doing, or I have to be doing, or I could be doing tomorrow. Or if you work for a different company, or somebody else is your boss, they're giving you a list of things that you need to be doing, and it can feel overwhelming. And so even if you have a list, you know, as long as your entire body of things that you have to do, you can only do one thing at a time. And so intentionally choosing to focus your energy wholeheartedly into one thing at a time is the second piece where mindfulness comes in handy. And then third is non-judgment, so that's accepting things as they are. Acceptance of the present moment. That's the basics of mindfulness and how I would apply mindfulness. Now, then I would say self-compassion, right? Specifically for work stress. I'm just trying to go over kind of the basics here because I'm going to get into kind of some of the juicier stuff in a second. So stay with me. You know, self-compassion for work stress is as simple as just taking a second to recognize that the situation that you're in is stressful, to recognize that there is stress present, and to offer yourself a little bit of kindness and a little bit of care because you're feeling that way. Like just something as simple as taking 3 seconds, right? You could do, let's do 6 seconds. So let's say we do 3 seconds or 3 breaths of a mindfulness practice. So simply tuning in for a few moments and just returning to this moment, returning to the fact that everything's okay, as the world around things okay, and then following that with 3 seconds of self-compassion. So this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of being human, or you could say this is a moment of stress. Stress is a part of the human experience. May I be kind to myself in this moment. Basic things that you can apply at any time. I also jotted down a couple little activities that you can do, like mindfulness practices. So the 3 breath break, that's literally just stopping what you're doing and taking 3 breaths, because everybody has time for 3 breaths. And even if you feel like you don't have time for 3 breaths, or you literally can't leave a situation to have 3 breaths, you can still take those 3 breaths in that situation. And then the other little activity is progressive muscle relaxation. So this can be done at a desk or really anywhere. And I would love for everyone, because again, you really can do this anywhere. So sit back, just get a little comfy, and start by clenching your toes. Like clench them as hard as you can. Clench, 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 and then release. The contrast between flexing a muscle and then releasing that muscle and like relaxing it as best you can helps you to deepen relaxation. So then you could move on to your legs. Let's do legs as a whole. If you're sitting, you can straighten your legs out. Like, can you see that? Like straighten them out in front of you and stretch them as far as they go for 3, 2, 1, tense, and then release them. And you can feel the difference in the sense of relaxation that's there. And so progressive going through each body part one by one and tensing and relaxing. It's really good for the shoulders because especially for those of us who work at desk jobs and we're on the computer all day, we tend to like hold ourselves up like this, especially when we get stressed out. So tensing your shoulders all the way up to your ears and holding them, and then just letting them fall. It allows the muscles, sorry, it allows the muscles to fully release. I realized I didn't ask you guys what you all do for work, because then maybe I can do some particular examples that apply to you and your job. So let me know in the comments what you guys do for work as we move forward here, because I'd love to be able to tie this in. Okay. Receptionist at a college, desk job, right? So especially for a position like a receptionist position, progressive muscle relaxation as you go through your day, huge. Jasper says I work in a bookstore, but I do the backroom receiving stuff. So lots of hauling boxes and computer work. Okay, so you've got physical labor or like mental stress with the computer work. Sarah, I work at a homeless shelter as an addiction support worker. Amazing. That's amazing. That's such important work. So I would imagine that you encounter lots of relational stress, dealing with lots of people all the time. Carter says, a cook at the MTS Center, also a student. So cook, that's got lots going on. Student, mentally exhausting. Oh, it's cool. I should have asked that at the beginning. That's so neat to hear what you guys all do. Okay, so with that in mind, this is something that I wanted to talk about, which I think is so cool. So forgive me with my pronunciation here. Hi, Holly. Holly says, I'm here. No need to stress. Everyone calm down. Yeah, we were all freaking out there for a minute. So forgive pronunciation here of this name. Oh man, it's a T and then an S right beside it. Thakni Rinpoche or Rinpoche. Rinpoche? Thakni Rinpoche? He's a Tibetan Buddhist teacher. I can hear, I'll put his name in the chat if anybody wants to look him up. And I'm just thinking, did I talk about this in the first webinar? Because I remember I had to put something in the chat on the first one because I could not pronounce it. Well, let me know if I've talked about this before, because I think it's so cool, so I'm going to talk about it again. But let me pull this back up. So he talks about the mind and the body, or like humans, and I feel like in a working environment, this is so helpful to know about, or to okay, I did mention him, but refresh. So he talks about 3 speed limits, and the first is the mind. Yes, I talked. Yeah, I talked. Oh no, close your eyes. Carter says, "Close your eyes, fall in love, stay there." Is a quote from him used before. That's a quote from Rumi. Close your eyes, fall in love, stay there. Probably my #1 favorite quote of all time. So this Tibetan Buddhist teacher, he speaks about speed limits of the human experience. So the first, he says, is the body, so how fast or slow the body is going. The second is the mind, so how fast or slow we're thinking. And the third he speaks of is deeper than that. It's like the speed of the inner landscape. And I love the differentiation between this speed landscape, like this inner peace or this inner restlessness. And the reason I love this is because he's saying that we can be moving fast, we can be thinking fast, we can be acting quickly while still maintaining inner peace and inner relaxation. And I think that's so interesting because it kind of contrasts a lot of what we are taught about mindfulness, or when we think about peace or like practices like this, we tend to think that it means that we need to physically and mentally slow down, which when you're practicing, absolutely. But in a work environment, at a job, you can't always slow down. You can't always just say, oh man, I'm having a stressful day. I need to knock 10 things off my to-do list and I need to just like sit back, man. This is too stressful. We can't do that. It's just figuring out the difference for you in your own mind and your own experience, figuring out what it feels like to move quickly and to move slowly, to think quickly, to think slowly, and to be restless or to have this inner peace. And can we play with the idea of continuing to work or continuing to think at a fast pace while maintaining that inner calm? Incredible. But that's just because I like going fast. So moving on to question number 2. Oh, Natasha said, I went over this in a mindfulness course at work for a wellness practice and it blew my mind. Amazing. That's really cool that they did a mindfulness course at your work too. Really cool. So the second question I wanted to address is, what's the best way to deal with difficult coworkers? Now, I wanted to tell you this whole story about my own experience with the most difficult coworker I've ever worked with. This is back in the day. I worked at a restaurant, and essentially my boss hated me. Like she hated me. And I don't have time to go into the whole thing, but my offering to you is that the best way to deal with difficult coworkers is compassion. And I mean compassion for them as well as compassion for you. So whoever this person is, we've talked about unmet needs before on my YouTube channel, and I believe here, and how often behind this hard exterior, whatever that hardness is, whether it's anger or frustration or talking a lot, like whatever it is that is presenting in this person, often there's an unmet need. There's something softer underneath that person. So for example, if I'm running a class, like an MSc, a mindfulness class, and we have a student who talks a lot, like for example, and they take up maybe a lot of the group space and they speak a lot more than the other people in the group speak. Instead of seeing that behavior and going, oh, this person's so difficult, oh, I'm so frustrated, oh, I don't know how to handle, do you think could be the unmet need that's underneath the behavior of talking a lot, that's underneath something that would come across as problematic? Can I get some guesses in the comments? What do you think would be a need for this person that is potentially not being met, that they're trying to meet, or that's coming through, it's coming out in this way? Maybe they need validation. Absolutely. To be heard by someone. Yeah, exactly. Lack of connection. Validation, to be heard, lack of connection. And so let's just say from that, let's say loneliness, lack of attention at home. Yeah, exactly. So we can put that under the umbrella of loneliness. Speaking with this person, or this person's speaking at me, let's be honest. This isn't a real person, by the way. This is just a hypothetical example. Out of I have a compassion practice, right? So I have a general foundation of compassion I try to hold for this person. But a visual tool or a visual practice that I engage in is I imagine, or I should say visualization, not necessarily visual. I imagine that word, whatever the unmet need is, so in this example, loneliness, I imagine loneliness sitting on that person's shoulder. And so if this is a coworker, and let's say it's a coworker that comes up to you and is always just talking and talking and talking, and you have work to do and they're just talking and talking, and it's so frustrating. When you're engaging with this person, can you just visualize that? Oh, that's loneliness. This person is experiencing loneliness, and that's why they're behaving in that way, in this way. And that's not to say that you have to accept whatever their behavior is. It's not to say that you have to tolerate whatever it is that's happening with this person, because sometimes coworkers are unreasonable, or your boss is not treating you fairly. And that's where the second part of the compassion comes in. We've got cats scratching at the door. So that's compassion for the coworker in a nutshell. Can you see that unmet need in them? And can you recognize that, you know, it's a human flaw? We're all flawed and we're all human. And then compassion for yourself. And so this is the second part of that, where it's asking yourself, what do I need in this situation? And if the need is, sometimes it's as intense as, I need to quit my job. Like, that's how, kitten at the door. And my situation with my old boss, that was what I had to do. I needed to quit my job, and I did. And so you can still take what you need and understand what it is that you need and take that action while maintaining compassion for that other person. Okay. Wow, this 30 minutes just flies by. I always write way too much stuff. My problem is that I worry really get into it, and then I get here and I start talking, and I'm like, man, I'm like flying through all of this way too fast. I want to talk about each of these things more, but but I'm running out of time again. So if you're asking yourself, if you ask yourself the question, what do I need? And the answer that you get is, well, I need to stay at this job, even though maybe I don't enjoy it. Maybe it's not my dream job. I need to stay. That's where the third question that I want to answer in this webinar comes in. So is it possible to find joy in a job that I hate? Carter says, apparently my computer didn't like your stream. It crashed for a little while there. Are you back? Can you hear it? Can you guys hear that? Should I just let them in? I'm just going to let them in. I know it's a distraction. Who is this? Who is it? Well, now you're going to have to stay in here. Now you're going to have to stay in here. Yeah. Now you're stuck in here. I'm sorry. Hi. Hi. You're trouble. Sarah says, might the solution be scheduled? Oops, sorry. Come on up. Sorry, I bumped your head. I didn't know you were there. Come on. Here. Sorry, I didn't have my legs how you like. I apologize. Now you can come up here. There. Come say hi to everybody. Come say hi to everybody. Yeah, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Might the solution be scheduling 45 to 60 minutes? Yeah, we might have to play with that. Look at this one. Here's this one. Oh, look, everyone's saying hi to you. Everyone's saying hi. Okay. So, is it possible to find joy in a job that you hate? Yes. And here are a couple ways that you can potentially do that. And I want you to follow along here because this is like, take what I'm about to tell you as a bit of an exercise. I'll lead you through it. But if you have a pen and paper, I recommend that you get that out now. So the first point that I want to make for finding joy in a job that you hate is to figure out your why. Why are you in this job? Why are you working this job? What's your purpose in this job? What are your goals? The why can be anything. And this is where I encourage you to think about this. What is your why? Why am I in this job? And sometimes the why is, well, I'm in this job because it pushes me, it challenges me. I find it exciting. I want this to be my career. And other times the why is I need to support my family. I'm working this job because I need the money. I need the money so I can buy another cat. I need the money so I can, put myself through school. Maybe this job has good benefits, and so I need to stay for the health insurance. Ask yourself why. Because once you understand your why of why you're at the job that you're at, it makes those days that feel unbearable after, because you know why you're there. It doesn't feel aimless and pointless. So I'm just going to give you a minute to think about that. Why? Why am I at this job? And sometimes when people ask themselves this question, sometimes when people ask themselves why, they can't come up with anything. It's just a job that I don't enjoy, and I don't really have a reason for being here. There's another answer, right? That's another, maybe then we return to the self-compassion question of what do I need? Maybe you need to find a different job. Maybe you need to take that plunge. Or maybe you're at the job you're at for a reason, and sometimes that can be easy to forget. The second point that I'd like to offer you in terms of finding joy in a job that you hate is look for ways or small things that you can do for your coworkers. Like, try to find small kindnesses that you can enact on your office or your store or for the people that you work with. The quote that I wanted to share with you this month is, paradoxically, but working on someone else's happiness will actually make you happier. And that's by A.J. Jacobs. Paradoxically, but wonderfully, focusing on someone else's happiness will actually make you happier. And I think that's so beautiful, and it's so true. Thinking of something kind or a way that you can make a coworker's day better, and then doing that, oh, it brings so much joy. You know, whether that's bringing a coffee for a coworker in the morning, or maybe you, I don't know, bake some cookies or something and you bring them in for the office, or you leave a kind note for a coworker who maybe made you smile the other day or something like that. Focusing on the happiness of those around you and doing your best. Hi, bud. Doing your best to brighten someone else's energy and to brighten your energy trapped in this I hate it here place is really healthy. And then the third thing that I want to offer is find little pleasures throughout the day. So this goes back to the mindfulness piece, right? So far, the know your why, find your purpose, figure out why you're at the job. That's the self-compassion, right? Why am I here? Am I here? What purpose is this serving me? And then do something kind for a coworker. There's the compassion piece, compassion for others. And then here's the mindfulness, is finding little pleasures throughout your day, a savoring practice. Can you bring yourself a nice lunch to eat? Like, maybe you're used to just, going to the vending machine at lunch and grabbing a bag of chips and eating that while you continue to work. Maybe something that can shift is packing yourself a nice lunch of like your favorite food. Favorite or not. And then, you could spend that time, you take that time savoring and actually taking a minute for yourself and enjoying it throughout your day. Bringing hot coffee to work, or taking a minute to do what we talked about at the beginning and take those 3 breaths, or taking 10 minutes in the break room. Taking 10 minutes in the break room to do a progressive muscle relaxation. You are so cute, but your nails are sharp. So the questions that I want to leave you with, right? So first is the reasons why you work. The second question is there anything kind that you can do for a coworker tomorrow or on your next shift? What's one kind thing that you could do literally on your next shift? Write that down also. Third question, is there anything that you can plan to spend some time savoring tomorrow or on your next shift? What's one thing that you can plan to savor next time you're at work? And then last, is there anything you can do tomorrow that will make your work life easier or more manageable? Is there anything that you can do for yourself as a self-compassionate act that will make your work life easier or more manageable? And if it feels like there's no answers to the questions above, like, no, there is no reason I'm here. No, there isn't anything kind I can do for my coworkers because they drive me nuts. No, I don't get a lunch break, so I can't savor my lunch tomorrow, Elena. Then maybe if work just feels like a bad environment and there's nothing more to it, then can you return to the service that job is providing you? Or is it time to find a new job? Both of those are just as valid. Both of those are just as valid. How are we doing, guys? How's that all landing? Let me see if I can pull up so I can see my own face again. I can't see myself right now. I have no idea what kind of hot mess is happening on the screen. Oh, you can't even see Bear. I thought you could see him. Huh? That's all I've got for you today. Kind of flew through it because I realized a couple minutes in that I had written way too much. Landing good, also enjoying cat mom Elena. Aw, yes. Ow. Oh, you got some sharp nails. He hates getting his nails clipped. So like one paw and then just a couple on the other paw, and we absolutely could not get him to allow us to clip the rest. So now he's got like two like sharp claws. Oh no, now you can't. Now he wants out. You begged to come in here. You're welcome, Jasper. And what about for next month? Any specific topics that you guys would like me to cover? Any requests? Sarah says, gives me stuff to think about for sure. Awesome. Clipping nails can be a nightmare. Natasha says, you're trapped, buddy. We love you, Bear. You can't leave. Let me pull up my note here so I can put in, because yeah, I would love to know if there's anything in particular you would like me to talk about next time, or if there's any particular type of meditation practice you would like me to create for you all. Either of those. If not, just say no in the comments. Let me know. Give me like an affirmative no at least, so I know. I'm not seeing an affirmative no. I'm not seeing anything. Thank you, Carter. Carter says, can't think of anything, no. See me out now. Jasper says, self-compassion for the holidays? Ooh, that's a good one. Compassion for the holidays. Carter says, I got you. Natasha says, I love all the topics and any meditation you use that you haven't made for us yet. Yeah, I actually have I have an idea of what I want the meditation practice to be this month if you guys didn't have requests. So I'll save that as a surprise for you all. Holiday ones, yes. Sarah can't think of anything at this time. I'll have to compare it next time. No, you guys don't have to, no pressure on you to come up with stuff. I always just want to ask, because if there is something that you would specifically like to be talked about, I want to, you know, you guys are the reason I'm here. I want to give you what you want. Okay, holiday seems like a hit. We can absolutely do that. Natasha says, "Oh, a surprise! I'm so excited." No, not as it's not like a big deal. I have there's a practice. It's a practice I really enjoy, so I hope that you guys will enjoy it as well. But that's going to be it for me for tonight. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next month. The hangout, it's kind of like a hangout. The webinar will be on the 13th. So that's the second Thursday. So December 13th. Put it in your calendars and we will chat. Okay. I love you guys. You're welcome, Carter. And I'll see you next time.